looking to land your first job in Australia, or even, might I say, your dream job, your resume or CV is your first impression. In this video, I will guide you through the steps to creating a compelling CV that will catch the attention of Australian employers. It's important to tailor your CV to how employers in that country prefer it. And I know when I came to Australia, I had no idea of this until I went to the career help center in my university that told me the right way to structure and present my CV. Understanding the preferred CV format in Australia is crucial to make it stand out. Unlike some countries, Australian employers prefer a concise, straightforward approach, a CV that's easy on the eyes and easy to read and skim through, which is like a lot of the Australian culture as well. A bit laid back, but make it presentable. Here's what to include and here's what's in my CV as well. The top header should include your full name, phone number, email address, and your LinkedIn profile. I would definitely recommend updating your LinkedIn profile because a lot of employers look at that. And it's easy to set it up, it's easy to put your portfolio on there as well. So it's a great way to stand out with all the other candidates that might have not done that. The second thing is your professional summary in 1 or 2 lines. Brief overview of your experience, skills, and career goals. And try not to make it sound like you're boasting yourself. Make sure it's all facts, which is what really helped me. So try not to say you're a very hardworking, creative person because anyone can say that about themselves. You have to prove or state your experience in why you claim yourself to be that. And like I said, they can look at your LinkedIn to know if you're creative or knowledgeable by presenting your work. But when you're presenting yourself, you should be humble, if I might say so myself. So what I included was facts and what I'm looking for. So I said communications graduate and experienced digital marketer, utilizing my knowledge of rhetoric and eye-catching presentation skills to fulfill a company's creative digital content needs. So even though it's a mouthful, it's just 2 lines of stating that I am a communications graduate, I'm an experienced digital marketer, I have good presentation skills, I'm creative with the type of digital content that I can provide for any company's needs. After that, you list out your education, especially if you're early in your career like me. Education first would be ideal. So all your education qualifications, any certifications that you might have done throughout the years as well, or any scholarship you might have got, which I did, so I include that in my CV. After that, head on to relevant work experience. This includes detailed descriptions of your previous roles, responsibilities, and achievements in that role. Make sure you give a brief summary of the company, your time there, and bullet points of your responsibilities. After that, you can include your extracurricular activities by naming it key skills or core skills, and this is just bullet points of your most relevant skill sets that you can offer. I have communication because I can speak 5 different languages, so I preface that because I have evidence of that. Computer skills because in the roles that I listed previously, I have had experience with MS Office, HTML and CSS, WordPress and SEO. It's pretty relevant because I include that in my responsibilities above. I also say I'm good at graphic design and presentation because I will be applying for those kind of roles and they like to see that I'm able to present photos, videos, or any assets aesthetically for brand building. I also say I'm good at research because I can produce really high quality research, SEO driven blogs as I've done in my previous roles, but I've also done it at university. I also say I'm good at copywriting because I did that for companies' social media and website pages. After that, I also list my extracurricular activities to give me a bit of personality. After all that robotic talk, I list out my poetry book. I say that I was a graphic designer for all these different small companies and brands as a freelancer. I say I've volunteered at old age homes and blind schools to humanize me a little bit. After that, there's a section for references, and it's common in Australia to include references or just mention that they're available upon request, because people don't like to give out their information to random people. And that's the last step of the interview process anyway, so they don't need your references in the beginning. So it's not really crucial to mention those, so I don't do it just for privacy reasons of my referees. It's important to also keep your CV to 2 to 3 pages. Mine's 3, I believe. Make sure it's easy to read with clear headings and bullet points. Tailor your CV to the job. I know, like anyone else, I've also applied to a whole bunch of roles when I'm job searching, whether that's community engagement roles or it's content producing roles or website roles. All of them would require different skill sets and experience, so make sure to highlight the ones that relate most to the jobs if you really want it, in that order. Study the job description and identify the key skills and experiences the employer is looking for. Highlight those in your CV by aligning past roles and achievements with the job requirements. In Australia, if you really want a job, there's a lot of competition, so make sure to tailor your CV to the specific job that you really want. The biggest mistakes I see job seekers make is sending the same CV to every employer, and we're all guilty of that at some point in our lives, but if it's your dream job, it's worth the effort. Sometimes jobs will also ask you to write a cover letter. So this is a strong professional summary that you can provide specific to the role that you're applying for with the skill sets you carry. Your professional summary is the first thing an employer will look at, especially if they get a lot of CVs to look at. They would prefer to choose the candidates that made the effort to write a cover letter. In 3 to 4 paragraphs, summarize your experience, key skills, and what you bring to the table. I've linked down below my most common cover letter, and I just adjust that to the job when I'm applying. It highlights my most relevant experiences and accomplishments, and I tailor each section to the job application. This is your elevator pitch, so make it compelling. These days we have AI tools like ChatGPT or Copilot to help us anyway, so it might not be as hard as it used to be to write a compelling cover letter. Also, customize your cover letter to the company. If especially they've addressed the hiring manager by name, you can include that in your cover letter. But back to the CV, highlight your key skills in every job. You can do that by using bullet points and keeping it concise, and aim for at least 8 to 10 skills that you do in that job. Include a mix of technical and soft skills. For example, if you're applying for a marketing role like me, you might list digital marketing, content creation, data analysis, alongside teamwork, communication, and problem solving. It's also important to mention key accomplishments. As much as your time at the company and responsibilities matter, they also care about results. So you can show your quantifiable achievements by using numbers and data to show your impact. For example, you can say you increased sales by 20% or managed a team of 10 people to make it more compelling of your skill set. In your education section, please remember to make it stand out. Not only are employers looking for the most skilled employee, they're also looking for employees that have been under a system before. So highlighting your educational experience is important. I like to mention them first because it shows my dedication to my work, and I'm also proud of where I went. So I make sure to list that out with the scholarship that I received. You can also include any relevant coursework or projects that you undertook. For example, I took an internship or professional pathway that we used to call it at university as part of my degree. So I mentioned that in my work experience, but you can do that in the education section as well. And I know with marketing, there's a lot of digital certifications that you can show these days, like GA4 course that you might have done by Google. You can list that in your education because it really shows that you go an extra mile to show that you are very skilled. With the referees section, it is common to not include it, but selecting the type of referees is also crucial. Australian employers really value if it's upper management. from your previous roles or any professors if you've just graduated to vouch for you and your skills and your dedication in your work. So when you do provide the references, it has to be their name, their position, where they worked, their phone number and email address. Most employers would contact them by call, or these days there are also softwares that can just take references online. Make sure you have good references and make sure to brief them about the role if they are being reached out to about you, because it is important. It's your future, okay? So you can go to your references and discuss what they might vouch for in that call or email that they might get to be your reference. Make sure they know your key achievements, so you can either send it to them or discuss it with them. I highly recommend sending your key achievements and your work to your references, even though they might be your manager or they might have been, you know, worked really closely with you. It's still important that they say the same things that you said in the interview process and what you highlighted, because it just shows credibility and trust and your skill set. But also, before providing your references and after they approve, make sure you have permission from your references before they are being reached out to, and like I said, brief them on what the role is, who will be contacting them, and what they need to highlight about you. The next tip is to proofread and format your CV or resume professionally. Before submitting your resume, make sure it's error-free, run it through Grammarly if you have to, check for spelling mistakes, grammatical errors, because that can leave a very negative impression. Use a clean professional format with consistent fonts and spacing. 1.5 is the most professional in my opinion in terms of spacing. In terms of fonts, Times New Roman is pretty good, and that's what I use along with Arial in the body part. I use Times New Roman in my header for my name and Arial, I think, for the body. But don't make it too flowery. Avoid any overly creative designs. Clarity and professionalism are key. Another tip I would recommend is to use action verbs and keywords. To make your CV more dynamic, use action verbs like led, managed, developed, achieved. This brings your achievements to life and shows that you are proactive and always achieving in your roles or education and overall in life. Specific to the industry you're applying to, incorporate keywords from the job description that you are applying to. Many companies use applicant tracking systems to screen CVs, so they might not even look at all of the CVs, even if they have a great candidate in there. These tracking systems try to compare your CV to the job description, and if you have keywords from the job description, it gives you a way higher chance to be selected for the interview and being shortlisted. Those were all my tips. Creating a compelling CV is your first step to securing a job in Australia. I know I did just by the initial work of working on my CV. It has helped me get into so many interview processes and jobs, so I highly recommend putting aside time to do these tips. By following these steps, you'll increase your chances of standing out and landing those interviews. I also make a video on how to stand out in interviews, so stay tuned for that, or just have a look at my other videos of my life in Australia, the jobs I've secured here, and how you can make money. If you found this video useful or need more on any other topics, please let me know. Leave a like, share, subscribe for more career tips. Good luck with your job search in Australia, and let me know if you have more questions. I'll see you next time.